Welcome to Tai Chi. Everybody ready? Let's warm up. Hands at your waist, turn your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stretch your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Expand your chest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Waist exercise. Take a peek at the heel of your opposite foot. Turn at the hips and waist. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Airplane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Touch toe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Be careful. Shift your weight to the left foot. Good Tai Chi posture. Dropping those shoulders. Kicking your right foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kick your butt. 1, 2, shift weight. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Heisman, opening up your span, parallel feet, choose the right side. Cross and sit on that side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Shift and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, going on to our golden cockerel, creating spirals, shifting of weight, good thoughts, good tai chi posture. Okay, head straight up. Golden cockerel on its left. Push down, pull up. One more set. Kicking out. 50-50 shift to the left. Right hand, right foot. Out and follow. Create your spirals. Last set. Holding our ball, root down, store that energy, good size of your ball, T stance, L stance, part the wild horse's mane, bow stance. Sit back and sit down, pivot, twist step, T stance, bring that ball in, L stance, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, T stance, center, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, twist step, T stance, listen carefully, out and to the side, part the wild horse's mane. Cloud hands in the 10 form. Two things happen at 9. Two things happen at 3. One thing happens at 9. Two things happen at 3. And 2 at 9. 1 at 3. Shift weight. Golden cockerel. Kicking out. Gather. Center and out. Holding our ball. Nice warding off. Pause at that extent. Then turn the hips and waist. Grasp the bird's tail. Sit down, look back. Contact turn, then push. Roll back, sit down. Power up and out. Twist. T, L, ward off. Pause, turn hips and waist. Push from the center, roll back. Apparently closing, twist, open, in, embrace, move over, rotate, in, out. Drop your shoulders, flex your knees, tuck the elbow as you now close your form. Okay, so what I want to do today is concentrate hard on Yang 16. So what we'll do is we'll take all of the 16 movements, take it from the correct sequencing, taking it slowly, and then listening to what I say, trying to kind of match what I'm leading you to in your movement. Then after that, we'll break it down and we'll start in all over again and clean up, okay? At the same time, reaching out to those who just moved in from the 10, all right? So good Tai Chi posture, good thoughts. We're going to try to achieve calmness, use of our core, and definitely centering, okay? Good Tai Chi posture, commencing form, 50-50, shift weight to the right, 60, 70, 80, 90 off the ground, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, rotate. Deep breath in as we elevate, drawing up that water. Reverse the process at chest level, push down that water as if you're putting your hands on a desk. T-stance, holding your ball. Think it through. Out and to the side, part the wild horse's mane, 1. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, hold your ball for better centering and balance, out on the heel, part the wild horse's mane, 2. Half step forward, hold your ball, spin your ball to the right. As you sit back on your back foot, watch the advancing left hand go up on a toe of the front, place it down, white crane spreads its wings. Drop your front foot as you tuck that elbow in and you bisect your body. Swirl back, left hand higher, right hand to your shoulder all together, brush knee 1. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, right hand higher, and brush knee 2. This time we're going to sit back, sit down, as if you're going to brush knee, but your right hand is fisted, it goes up, replaces that left hand, you're going to deflect, bring it in, and parry, and punch. I'm going to strip the guy off of you, open your fingers and roll back and sit down and push him down. Spiral up and lunge forward. You're going to pivot on your back or right heel, pivot on the left heel, hook the back hand, T stance out and to the side, L stance, push out, single whip. Half step forward, you're going to swirl the back hand, you're going to rock the front foot, and you're going to play your lute on your heel. Setting it up correctly for repulsing of the monkey. Center the front hand, back hand higher as you glance at it, all together. Ear, hand, and heel, toe rather, heel, meet in the center as you repulse the monkey 1. Center, higher, glance, up, all together, ear, toe, heel, pivot, 2. You're going to pivot on your heel of your front foot, pirouette on the toe of your back. You're going to kick out with your right heel and reposition your ball. You're going to come out with your left heel and Maiden's going to shuttle on her left. You're going to sit back and you're going to sit down. You're going to pivot in. You're going to hold your ball. You're going to put your right heel out. You're going to spin your ball and Maiden's going to shuttle on her right. You're going to take a half step to the back. You're going to set up your left hand and your right foot that's on his toe, you're going to go down to the bottom of the C. The left hand comes up, it's joined by the right hand, then your right foot comes up, and then you're going to stretch out like a fan. Sit back, sit down, twist, step, parameter 1, cloud hands. 12 o'clock, 2 things happen at 3. 2 things happen at 9. At 3 o'clock, we're going to do a T-step and we're going to hold our ball. Then we're going to step out and ward off. And we're going to pause after you get that spacing. Then you're going to turn the hips and waist and you're going to pull down the bird's tail. You're going to contact, turn again and push from the center. Separate the energy and roll back and sit down. Spiral up and lunge forward. Sit back, sit down, twist step. T-stance holding your ball, out and to the side, ward off your opponent. Pause, Turn the hips and waist, hands go for the ride. How? Sitting down, sitting back, using your hips and waist to turn, contact, pushing that energy through the center, separating and rolling back and sitting down, and spiraling up and lunging forward. Apparently closing. Twist step, open step, in step, embrace, right hand on the inside, move over, then rotate and pull them, push the tiger up, closer to your chest, push them out. Drop your shoulders, flex your knees, tuck your elbows as you now close your forearm. Okay, so that in a nutshell is what we're going to cover. Today we're just going to do maybe a few beginning movements, okay? So even if you know the sequence, we can always go back and refine your movements. And so people who are familiar with the 16, which is probably almost all of you, you should take note of how things can be done in a refined position, manner, okay? So when we have established or created Tai Chi posture, we're dropping our shoulders. The shoulder, once it's dropped, is never raised, even if we're repulsing the monkey or not repulsing, but brushing our knee where our one hand is higher. This shoulder is always dropped in spite of the hand being above the shoulder, okay? So remember that. Remember also that our movements are core generated. So they're not just hand motions, but there's something that's going on in our back, our central portion that's creating the movement. So right away, we are like a rag doll, semi-rag doll. We're relaxed, we're focused, we are centered. In commencing form, we're going to shift the 50-50 equal weight to the right gradually. So right now, 50-50, the right foot starts to get heavier with 60, 70, 80, 90. You're on your toe. At 100, you're going to open, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Hands rotate to the middle of the thighs. Take a deep breath in as you drop the water. Drop that water, takes your core. At shoulder level, you're going to reverse the process. You're going to drop the shoulder, flex the knee, push down the water. Then, maybe right at waist level, you're going to start to create a ball, 2 inches below your navel and chest level. And at the same time, you have a T stance, okay? So you cannot form your ball and then make a T. You have to do them pretty much closer together, if not simultaneously. So you're in a T stance holding your ball. You're going to part the wild horse's mane 2 times. So here we are at a T stance. We're going to take an L stance. We're going to move the energy, turn the hips and waist, bottom hand advances to go up the horse's mane. Okay, so if you're in a bow stance, you're pretty much centered. You're not panicking and thinking about, okay, what's the next step, okay? So you're relaxed. Because anytime you start to panic and say, what's the next step, more than likely you are not relaxed and you are not establishing a position to go on to the next movement. Bow stance. Sit back, sit down. Pivot out, doing another ball to part the wild horse's mane, holding your ball. Heel out, move the energy, part the wild horse's mane, 2. 2 and final. Then we're going to take a half step with our back foot and we're going to hold the ball for better balance. We're going to spin the ball towards the right and sit back on our left foot. Right foot is on its toe, left hand elevated, and we're going to bring the front toe foot out and point it out, and we're relaxed with shoulders dropped. White crane spreads its wings. Okay? So that's a lot. Let's go back to your original home and let's come forward now. Actually starting with the clock wall. So this time you can see a little better, okay, when we finally turn. So facing the clock wall, we're relaxed. We're learning to do a nice commencing, parting, and white crane. 50-50. Shift weight to the right, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 allows you to open, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, rotate, take a deep breath in as you elevate, drop that water, at chest level, push down the water, make yourself small, drilling down on both feet. Holding your ball in a T stance. You're going to come out with your left heel, L stance. Split the hands, bottom hand advances to part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, pivot out. Shift your weight by holding your ball for better balance. Heel out, turn the hips and waist, part the wild horse's mane, 2 and final. Half step forward means you just take a small step with your back foot. You spin the ball to the right and you drop back to your back foot. Spin the ball to the right, drop back, the toe of the front foot. Then you're going to establish white crane. How? Lift up the front foot, point it out. Here it is. So what are the parameters for white crane? Left foot holds your weight. Right toe is pointed forward without hardly any weight. Left hand is higher than the hand is higher than your head. The baby finger slices across the edge of your right shoulder. The right hand holds a ball to the side of your thigh as a counterbalance. Okay? Can I see how you look? Okay, show me that you know that weight is on the back. Weight is on the back. So if weight is on the back, that back knee should be flexed because no one can hold their weight with the knee not flexed. Okay, good. This hand, okay. When you, 1, 2, half step, spin. The final movement in final, white crane spreads its wing. Your chest opens. You can feel a stretch. It's your core working when you go this way. So if you find yourself too tight in, you don't feel that stretch, but there's a stretch and open, okay? So when you practice, try to get that sensation. But early on, you may not be aware of it or you may not feel it because you are still trying to get to that position, but slowly you'll feel it, okay? So let's drill that a little bit more. So give me a clock wall formation and you know you're gradually coming forward, so you should gradually go back home a little bit, okay? We're at 50-50 good Tai Chi posture, dropping the shoulders. We're going to add to the right 60, 70, 80, 90 on your toe of the left, 100 off the ground, open, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, rotate. Take a deep breath in as you drop the water, using your core, of course. At shoulder level, you're going to push down the water, make yourself small, flexing your knees, dropping your shoulders. You're going to form your ball by the left hand, gradually coming 2 inches below your dantian, and then bringing in that top hand. Okay, you're on a T stance. We're taking an L stance. L stance with your heel, turn your hips and waist, move that energy, use your core to part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, ball for better balance and centering, heel out, turn the hips and waist, bow stance, part the wild horse's mane 2. Half step forward, hold your ball, spin the ball to the right as you sit back on your back foot, raise the left hand, open up your chest, point out. White crane spreads its wings. Actually like this, okay? Then we're going to tuck this elbow. This elbow is now flaring to the left, right? So you want to tuck it so that you could bring it into the mid portion of your body to bisect your body down to your dantian. Okay, so I take it back. So when I found that I did this The hand did flare out rather than sit closer to the side, but you don't want it to go too far out, okay? All right, so this is white crane. Parameters for white crane, which are very important, is that the weight is on the back or left foot. The hand that's higher is, you'll see it other ways where they're flaring out, but what I want to do is establish how I was taught, where the baby finger slices the edge of the right shoulder, okay? It's not this way, it's this way. So your elbows are always dropped and your shoulder is definitely dropped. And the positioning is weight severely on the back. At this point, you can drop your front foot and you can tuck the elbow in. Okay, two things. First, get a good white crane. Weight on the back, right? So you don't want to be up this way, you want to drop down. You want to sit down on that imaginary stool. After you establish white crane, you're going to drop the front foot and tuck the elbow. Can you do those? Only those two things. Drop the front foot, tuck the elbow. Okay, now we're going to add a third thing. Drop the front foot, tuck the elbow, move to the center of your body. One more time. White crane spreads its wings, setting it up correctly. Drop the front foot, tuck the elbow, move to the center of your body. One more time. Weight on the back. Drop the front foot, tuck the elbow, center of the body. At the center of the body now, you're going to bisect and all the way down to the danten. Come down, swirl back, look back, setting it up correctly. Okay? Starting from the beginning, clock wall, 50-50, good Tai Chi posture, gathering the energy from 60 to the right, 70, 80, 90, off the ground, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, rotate, take a deep breath in as you elevate, shoulder level, push down, tuck the elbows, flex the knees, drop the shoulders. Form your ball, left hand towards your 2 inches, right hand comes up on the top, T stance. Take an L stance, move the energy, split the energy, part the wild horse's mane 1. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, shift your weight, center your ball, L stance, turn the hips and waist, part the wild horse's mane 2. So the right hand now should be at least at eye level. You don't want to keep it any lower because that glance should be out into infinity and out there. Once you drop that forward hand, you will dip down even more with your vision, okay? So keep that hand pretty much optimistic and outward and upward. At this point, we take a half step. So a half step requires balance. So we're gonna move into a half step and we're gonna center ourselves with a ball. Weight, maybe evenly distributed, okay? But we're gonna get to white crane and we're gonna have to shift our weight to the back. So we're gonna rotate the ball, sit back, watch the advancing left hand go up, lift the front foot to its toe, set it up correctly. Okay, take the last parting of the wild horse's mane, which is like this. Got it? Half step. Hold your ball. Spin your ball, drop to the back foot, on the toe of your front, raise that left, look at it, then lift off the front and set it up. One more time. Part the wild horse's mane 2 and final. Half step, hold your ball, spin the ball as you sit back. Advancing hand, watch it, lift off, white crane. So at this point, white crane sets up his parameters. The shoulder is dropped, the elbow is down, the baby finger slices to the edge of the right shoulder blade. We can now bisect our body. Just ask yourself, is your weight evenly distributed? Do we want it evenly distributed? The answer is no. There's a weightless foot in the front. That's why it's on its toe. The toed foot cannot have very much weight. So therefore, you're going to increase the weight of the back by just coming down a little bit more, okay? Setting it up correctly. You're going to, what? Drop the front foot and tuck the elbow in and come closer to your center to bisect towards your danten. You're going to spiral on your axle, and left hand is higher, and you're going to lift off the ground, and you're going to come down to brush knee 1. Okay? Starting from the last brush knee, parting of the wild horse's mane. Right hand, right foot ready to go. Out and to the side, part the wild horse's mane final. Half step forward, hold your ball. You want to get back to the weight on the back foot. So you're going to spin the ball, sit back, rock the front, look at that advancing left hand, lift off the ground, point out, white crane. Weight on the back, okay? As long as we've been drilling, it's getting tiring and taxing, but we're building up stamina and strength, okay? How do we do the next? 2 things. Drop the front foot, tuck the elbow in, bring that hand to bisect towards the middle of your body. Swirl back, look back, left hand higher, right hand to the shoulder, all together. Ear, heel, and hand, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, right hand higher, left hand to your shoulder, all together, brush knee 2. This time we're done just the way we did 2 parting of the wild horse's mane. We only do 2 brush knees. But we're going to, after a bow stance, we're going to have to sit down and sit back. So that's what we're going to do. Then we're going to come out. This time our left hand is high and our right hand is fisted. And we're going to exchange places when we shift our weight. Shift your weight, bring the hand down, bring the hand up. Spin out to deflect. Bring it in, cross over to parry, and then to punch. Wow, not that easy. Strip the guy away, open up your fingers, roll back, sit down, push him down. Push him out, forward. Okay? Easy, right? Yeah, because you can see me, you can hear me, and it's in the morning, right? No. So it can be very easy and it can be very logical, because in Tai Chi, everything is in a pattern. The pattern that we are establishing for our bottom is Tai Chi walk. It's just like the 10-form pattern where there's a Chi stance, a L stance, and a bow stance. But we're, instead of just taking the parameters of a few blocks, we're advancing forward or advancing sideways in the same pattern, okay? So that kind of becomes a really challenging scheme in itself. So what we have to do is we have to isolate, okay? So that's what we're gonna do now. Okay, so you realize by taking the 10 form that Tai Chi is built on firm foundations. If you understand and do well on the feet, more than likely when you concentrate on the upper body, it'll be an automatic thing with the feet and the upper body matching. But once you are not so good on the feet or not sure of your feet, it'll foul it up even more when you start to create things on the top. But in essence, if everything is done well, everything enhances each other, the upper and the body and bottom and vice versa. So they enhance itself. And that's what makes Tai Chi very appealing, and to the performer as well as to the viewer. So Tai Chi walk, let's check that out. Moving back slightly. So in Tai Chi walk, let's do it first and then we'll talk about it, okay? Let's put our hands at our waist. Hands at our waist, we can still drop the shoulder. right? And we don't have to stand up straight. We can still relax the knees because that's Tai Chi posture. And it will help us with all of movements to always relax the knee, but never to the point where they're so bent. Because there's no start of a energy beginning. So we're relaxed, we're ready for that energy to start, okay? We're in good Tai Chi posture. We're at a straightaway because we're forward. This time we're going to actually pivot on the right heel as if we're zigzagging and walking in the right direction, right-handed direction. We're going to shift our weight because Tai Chi says 2 feet cannot be weighted. Therefore, the weight has to be on that right pivoted foot. The left heel can go out in an L stance. Here we go. L stance. Energy here on the right needs to be generated through your system all the way over to create a bow stance. Flatten down, knee not beyond the toe, 45-degree on the back foot. This is our bow stance. The choreograph says now we have to, from a bow stance, we have to sit down and we have to sit back. Lots of people who know this are forgetting this portion. You're going to have to pivot out to the left, and you're going to have to zigzag to the left position. And you're going to have to shift your weight and come out on an L on the line or parallel to the line of this left foot. You're going to generate the energy from the back, or left foot rather, and then come down and do a bow stance. Knee not beyond the toe, knee not locked in. Sit back, sit down on that imaginary stool. And this actually helps because your energy then can spiral out on a zigzag, shift your weight, L stance, move the energy in alternating way and come down on a flat bow stance. Sit back, sit down. The better you can store this energy, the more power you have to perform your Tai Chi. Zigzag to the left as if you're walking that direction, heel out on an L, move the energy, turn the hips and waist, flatten down, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, lengthen out that front foot, zigzag to the right, both hips in the right direction, heel, move the energy because that energy should not have gone to that forward foot, only now. Sit back, sit down, pivot out as if you're walking in the left hand zigzag, heel, turn the hips and waist, flatten down, bow. So the rate in which I'm taking you is very difficult because you always have to hold your weight. So in this exercise or in this Tai Chi walk, it's very important that you drill on your own as much as you don't like it. This is the foundations in which Tai Chi is built. If you can firmly do this and correctly do this, you're gaining lots of strength, lots of stamina, and flexibility to help you later when you put your Tai Chi upper portion together, okay? On the way back now, we're not going to quit. We're going to turn around so I can watch and I can do, okay, with you. All right. So let's just take a little rest. Drop your hands and just listen. So in this exercise, we are using a lot of Tai Chi principles. We're shifting our weight. We're also spiraling on our axle. We're thinking through, and we always have Tai Chi posture. Our head is straight up. When you shift your weight to the back foot, don't forget to sit down on that imaginary stool. If you like to see people doing something well, they're doing it well because they're exaggerating their movements. That's the way you should be doing. Exaggerate your movements, okay? See if you can implement that. Hands at your waist, good Tai Chi posture. Pivot with the right, walk in the right direction. Shift the weight. Heel of the left, L stance. Turn the hips and waist, transfer the energy, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, twist out to the left, walk in that left, balance, L, turn the hips and waist down. Sit back, sit down, twist to the right, walk in that direction, heel, turn the hips and waist, flatten down, bow stance. Sit back, sit down. Okay, don't look at your feet, okay? Twist out, heel, turn the hips and waist, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, walk in that right zigzag, heel out, turn the hips and waist, bow stance. Last one. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, walk in that left zigzag, heel, turn the hips and waist, bow. Okay, I'm going to stop because there are too many things that I need to talk to you about, okay? So yes, you're on your journey, and yes, you're coming back to your home base, which is good because you've zigzagged, but you've always taken that forward L stance so you're not off to the side, and that's good. So we are learning how to do Tai Chi a little bit better. But what I see, these are the things I see, and when I say them, see if it may apply to you. There's not any wiggling of the hips and waist. It's so stiff that all you're doing is not using it. Remember we did this, turn your hips and waist? I don't see any of that. Everybody's saving their hips and waist and not swirling it. So when you're out, when you're here, when you're here, how do you exaggerate? You turn the hips and waist. A lot of you are just out, here, and I don't know, this waist, maybe it even happens before, so that when you turn, there's hardly any sway of this. There's no exaggeration where there should be. How can you get the energy to do an L stance and sway the hip if you don't establish it already? So when I say out, this whole section goes to the right so that it has this whole section then can sway to the center. So right away that has to be established, okay? So I see that in a lot of you, okay? So make sure you exaggerate, because what you feel you do correctly may not appear and could be improved on it, okay? When you do a bow stance, I'm going to do it this way, okay? When you do a bow stance, this leg is an arrow, right? But it cannot be straight. Once it's straight and elevated, you're locking that joint and the energy cannot flow. So how do you counter it? You don't dip it down this way. Once you dip it down this way, your Tai Chi posture is lost. But it's somewhere in between the stiffness and that dipping down that gives you a straighter look than something that's more curved, okay? So that one's important too. And why am I harping on that? Is because if there is a dip, when you finally sit, you don't have Tai Chi posture, and when you sit back, you're not collecting enough because it's already dipped down. So if this guy is relaxed and you sit back, here it goes. You can sit down a little lower. Not everybody's sitting down, okay? And it's not an easy a task. But here again, things are accumulated. If you establish something right from the beginning, that'll give you more energy and power to excel within that movement and continuously. So we said that there was in Tai Chi, there's a pattern. Once you establish that pattern and dig down a little deeper, everything seems to come together. Energy, confidence, just something that just kind of meshes really well together.
I just want to briefly just review 3 strategies of movement that we employ in almost everything we do in Tai Chi. You're transferring energy, and what you're doing is you're transferring energy by 3 ways. When you're standing at one level, you're going linear and rotatory. That's how you twist your body to switch the energy from one place, to switch the energy to the other place. And you want to get to your opponent, so you have to advance, or you want to get away, you have to back down. Another thing which also helps is how you use gravity, okay? And just stand straight for now, and then shift to one side and just drop your knee a little bit. What do you feel? Okay? From this position to this position, all of a sudden your feet feel very, very heavy. That has 2 implications. One, provides more stability, and in a dynamic activity like Tai Chi, you're storing energy because your muscles are, in order to hold that position, your muscles are getting wound up or tight, and when you come back up, the other muscles are lifting that energy back out. So when you do your Tai Chi, just remember, spinning, transfer of motion, forward and back, and up and down. When Lucille says, sit back, you're getting down here, this leg becomes awfully stable, but it also stores a lot of energy. And when you say, I've got to go someplace else, this comes back up, and the energy comes up this way, and it drops down that way. Okay?
We're on our journey, and what you can understand and intake and see, that can be applied throughout our journey. So if we're aware of it, which we are, and we will send out reminders, then you will grow with the program rather than realize in the end, oh, I could get better if I had done this earlier, okay? So that's where we're coming from. All right, let's kind of put it together now, okay? Let's do the 10 form first, and then we go into the 16, okay? So in the 10 form now, let's kick it up a notch. Let's kind of apply some of the things that we've learned just recently in our 16 to the 10 form, okay, in a way of posture. Yang 10 form, commencing form, open, drop that water, push down, repulse of the monkey, spirals, turn on your axle, move the energy, don't be in a rush, sit down, twist, all together, sit back, sit down, spiral with the ball, out and to the side, part the wild horse's mane. Eye level, sit back, sit down. Center, T. Out, move that energy. Core related. Cloud hands. Core related. Use your hips and weights. Shift weight, spiral up, create your circles. gather the energy, center the energy, tuck the elbows. Lord off and pause at that extent, then turn. Center push. Sit down. Twist. Center. Generate. Pause. Use your core, use your mind. Sit down. Twist. Open. In. Embrace. Move over. Rotate. In. Out. Drop the shoulder. Okay, one more time. This time, kick it up a notch. Make it a little smoother, make a little bit more connections. Okay, here we go. Commencing form. Okay, so that's what Tai Chi is all about, right? But how do we get to this last point? We had to think about, take care of ourselves. We had to think through the process. We had to appreciate the quietness and the energy that's surrounding us. So we want to achieve that through the 16. That same sensation that you just experienced is what we're going to find and develop and create. But think about how you came in that first day in the 10 form and how much effort and time you spent learning the 10 form. We have to devote that plus more to 16 movements, okay? So I kind of wanted to move on to the 16. I'm looking at the clock, but I'm also taking in what I feel and that energy. I want it to last throughout the day for you because you deserve it. And I know that you can apply it to the 16 eventually, okay? And that's our goal. So leaving this class with calmness, a little bit more strength in our core, and definitely centering our movements and our thoughts. Okay, see you next time.